BenQ are promoting their Ideacam Pro to miniature hobby enthusiasts with a webcam that is designed for clearly showing what is on your table. They were kind enough to send me one for review, and it's a great chance to look at how it performs for a variety of tasks that streamers and content creators could use it for. BenQ are also running a campaign where you can win one for yourself, but more about that at the end of the review. I've now been streaming on Twitch and producing content on YouTube for a while now, and something that's always been an issue for me is getting a quality recording setup to show all the tiny details that we deal with as miniature painters. Many content creators use a DSLR camera to record their painting, which is great if you have one, but many of us cannot afford such an expensive piece of equipment. Until now, I have been using my iPhone 13 Pro to record and stream my painting. It has been solid for what I need it to do, but it is a massive inconvenience as, surprise surprise, I sometimes need to use it as a phone. So if we cannot afford a DSLR camera, and we want to avoid the inconvenience of using a phone camera, is the BenQ Ideacam Pro a viable option? At the time of publishing this video, the Ideacam S1 Pro comes in at $212 US, making it not an inexpensive bit of kit, but it is considerably cheaper than even a low-end DSLR camera. So what do we get for our 200 buckaroos? Well, we get the webcam with a USB cable attached and magnetic lens cover, a remote control with wireless USB, a webcam mount, and a macro lens. The camera has a recess for connecting to the mount using a magnet to hold it in place. The mount has quite a heavy ballast and is designed to be used in a number of ways. One has it folded into a desk-mounted camera stand, and another has it balanced on the top of a screen. And the last allows it to be mounted to a tripod with the 1/4 camera screw. The remote control is used in conjunction with BenQ's software app Inspire and will allow you to control the camera remotely. Inspire will be an important bit of software to use with the webcam, as it allows you to customize the settings so that you capture the best footage you can. From the side menu, you can choose the capture device for both video and audio. The image settings give you a variety of options, including presets for easy use. I like to fiddle with all the details when I set up my camera, and here we can adjust things like the resolution that goes up to 3264 by 1836, which is somewhere between 3K and 4K resolution. Other settings are for adjusting the white balance to compensate for the type of lighting you are using, the brightness, the contrast, saturation, sharpness, and hue. The capture settings will also allow you to choose where files will be recorded on your hard drive if you are using Inspire to record the footage. Once you've chosen these settings, then you can easily use your remote control to adjust focus and zoom. The remote control is a nifty device that you can set on your desk within easy reach, and if your setup is anything like mine, that makes things much easier than trying to reach the keyboard on my MacBook. No setup for content creation is simply put up a camera and shoot. Lighting is of utmost importance, and so is the ease of keeping a miniature within shot of the camera and not having said camera get in the way of your painting. To help give you the best rounded view of how this camera performs, we will be testing it under the Redgrass R9 light, a cheap desk lamp, and a regular room light. At the same time, I will also show you how my iPhone 13 Pro performs under the same conditions. Before we do that though, we have to figure out how to mount the camera to record our painting session. For Twitch and YouTube, I like to have a top-down view. It's the least obstructive for me to work with. I can keep my head out of the shot, and as it is in line with my lights, it knocks out a lot of unwanted shadows from the footage. To set up the Ideacam, I use a microphone arm with a 3/8 inch to 1/4 inch screw converter that can easily be found on Amazon pretty cheap. This allows me to connect the Ideacam's mount to the microphone arm and position it with relative ease. The camera's mount is quite large and can get in the way a bit, but once in position, it's comfortably secure. The setup for my iPhone has been similar, but instead I use a clip that came with my mic arm that has done a good job of holding the phone in place where I need it. I'm recording the footage from both the Ideacam and iPhone through QuickTime on a Mac. For the Ideacam, I am able to adjust focus and settings using Inspire, but for the iPhone, I'm unable to control any of these aspects. The quality of both pieces of footage look pretty close to one another. The iPhone's camera's focus depth is much shallower than that of the Ideacam, and because we can set the focal depth for the Ideacam, there is no danger of your footage falling out of focus as long as you are careful with model placement. The iPhone does have a greater depth of color from this test, but this can be resolved when editing the color of the footage in post. Now, not everyone is going to have an expensive light like the R9, so how does the footage look when we have a cheaper light source? This time a simple desk light with a daylight bulb. Here they both still perform very well, showing much of the detail of the model. However, the iPhone footage is a little more crisp, but the colors came out richer this time on the Ideacam. Finally, recording under just a room light, the footage gets pretty blurry, especially when anything moves on both cameras. The footage is still quite usable, but I strongly recommend avoiding painting under such conditions. I would easily develop eye strain and concentration problems within 10 minutes of painting under such a light source, or should I say, lack thereof. Doing the tests, we can see that the Ideacam can produce pretty decent results as an overhead camera for scale modeling and miniature painting. But let's look at it in more detail. How does the camera perform with close-ups? Pretty damn well, as you can get very close, and using the ring light, you can get a very detailed image of the subject. I also found the camera to be very unobtrusive when I was painting, as it took up a lot less space than my iPhone 13 Pro did. Not only that, but it was easier to manipulate the camera when I wanted, as it pops off the mount very easily, and with its simple and light design, along with a long USB cable, the camera can be put at all kinds of angles and positions on the fly. It can, of course, be used as a regular webcam to record yourself very easily. Even mounted on my mic arm, the image gets automatically flipped, whether the camera is pointed up or down. So it is also easy to switch between recording painting sessions and talking to camera without messing with video orientation. The macro lens will let you get really close up to your model, which will show up a lot of the imperfections, which if you're trying to fix is a really good thing, but it's not always the best view of your model. Of course, no product is perfect, and although I do think this camera is a solid tool as a mid-tier priced bit of kit, there are some issues. I really like the manual focus on this webcam, as it does allow me to set the depth that I will be painting. But God forbid you try to record a painting session on autofocus. The depth that I set up the camera meant that it had to refocus every few seconds, making any footage shot like this unusable. I also found that using BenQ's software Inspire is a must when setting up the camera. If I source the webcam through OBS, it always resets to 1080p. The only way to get it back was adjusting the image settings in Inspire. This can also mean that things on your OBS can suddenly look out of place. But don't change anything, just reset the resolution in Inspire and all will be well. When it comes to recording footage, I also cannot recommend using Inspire. Even setting the resolution of the camera to the highest quality, Inspire only ever recorded to a resolution of 1440 by 838. This meant that I had to use Inspire for setting camera resolution, color correction, and focus, but a separate program to record footage at higher resolutions. In the tests previous, results were very comparable to the iPhone 13 Pro. However, there is one advantage the iPhone has over the Ideacam, and that is the fact that there are almost limitless apps. Using BenQwebcam, for example, will allow me to record 4K footage with all settings under my control. Saying this, the problem with using my phone in this manner means the storage is used up very quickly and the phone gets very hot quickly, and most likely is also going to be killing my future battery life. The Ideacam's inbuilt microphone sucks. The recording quality is bad. I'm using the BenQ's web camera mic from this position above the model. Compared to my budget for fine microphone, it does not stand up. And this is a recording just using my for fine microphone that I use regularly for recording videos and things like that, just unedited and recorded straight. If you're making any content creation, you need a separate, better quality mic. However, overall, the process of recording footage was pretty painless. Now I have had some time with the camera, I find setting up for streams and recording far quicker and smoother. I think what I like most about this camera is its versatility. It just makes doing all kinds of content creation easier than using my phone in many ways. One such avenue I'm looking to explore is making battle reports. The camera can be easily mounted for an overhead view of the battlefield, and between unit movements it can be easily removed to get close-ups, along with using the remote to quickly refocus on subjects before being returned and for gameplay to continue. It is also a handy device for making 3D models for games in Tabletop Simulator. In fact, I would go as far to say it's amazing for this. I had a go at making a 3D model of my Frostfire Herald, and it took mere minutes. The compact size of the camera made it easy to handle, it didn't obstruct the light like my iPhone 13 Pro does, you can quick fire photos using the remote control in conjunction with Inspire, and then running these photos through PhotoCatch, it made a near perfect 3D representation of the model. I'm going to be putting a lot more models into Tabletop Simulator very quickly with this. The camera can also be used pretty effectively for beauty shots and videos of your finished miniatures. The webcam mount works well for this, allowing you to set up pretty fast, and its compact design helps you avoid casting unwanted shadows from the camera. So, at $200, is this camera for you? If you want to get into content creation or streaming of paint and modeling sessions, and you do not own a high-end camera already, then I think this camera is a solid investment. I'm already making the switch from my phone camera to this. Once I got used to the camera and the Inspire software, I have found it very easy to use and quick to set up, while also getting some quality results. The versatility also makes it a perfect fit for me, as I can take photos, record painting sessions, make 3D models for Tabletop Simulator and Blender, or just use it as a webcam, like I did in the interview I had with Hoopoe. Before I hype things up too much, and to avoid disappointment, remember, if you're going to be getting into any kind of content creation for this hobby, your first priority needs to be lighting. It does not matter how much you spend on a camera if your only light source is your ceiling light. The footage will always look terrible. And once you have sorted out a good light setup, this camera acts as a quality investment. BenQ are also running an ongoing promotion at the moment where you can win your very own Ideacam S1 Pro. To enter, post a hobby picture to Instagram with the hashtag #CreateWithIdeacam and complete the Google form in the description of this video. For every 50 people that enter, a winner will be drawn to receive the camera. To sum up this review, I want to say that I'm very lucky to be able to receive this camera for free. But if I were to buy this camera, my first feelings would be hesitancy in spending the money to replace my iPhone that has a very good camera in it already. However, because I have been able to use it and see its range of versatility and ease of use over using my iPhone, if I had bought the camera out of my own pocket, I would not be disappointed. I'm going to be using this a lot for future videos, so check them out as they come out, and if you ever dip your toes into content creation, you can use those videos as a reference for your purchasing decisions. That about does it for this video, so please leave a like and consider following if you want to see more, including future content using this camera. If you have any questions about the camera that you don't think I have covered, I read all comments and do my best to reply to all of them, and I will try to answer to the best of my ability. So until next time, bye bye!